forward to waiting on
Yeah, okay.
the little time to start clicking. It's taking a while.
Looks good on my end. So
Does it?
yeah.
Okay. On my end, it's still not. I don't see a notification for it to go in live yet. I hit the start.
I don't know. It says live. It says
Really?
live. Yeah, on my end it says live.
Okay. All right.
We got a couple viewers already. It looks like.
Wow. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Must be some kind of lag on my laptop. Yeah, you're correct. I just looked on my phone and we are. Okay. Hey, this is Thurman, Clean Freaks Podcast, of course, hosted at S&M Cleaning Service, and we have a great interview today with Zach Jolly, and he's going to tell us about his product. He's also an entrepreneur and an inventor, and it's going to, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your product.
Absolutely, Thurman. First of all, thank you so much for having me on your podcast. I'm honored and grateful to be able to speak today and tell everyone a little bit about my story. So, um, I, I'm a big dude. I'm sure you are too. I played
Yeah.
college football. I played college football and lived with 5 other student athletes that were all eating like 5 times a day, just trying to gain weight. And being away from home, being away from mom for the first time, didn't take long for the sink to get full of some nasty, crusty, dirty dishes, and we were having issues with ants, with getting in fights, like uh, you know who's gonna find the sponge at the bottom of the sink beneath all those crusty, dirty dishes, because someone wants to make a peanut butter and jelly and they can't find a clean plate, they can't find like a clean knife, they can't find anything they need in order to just make something simple. So it got so bad that like the countertops would be filled completely with dirty, crusty dishes. We had rodents, we had all kinds of issues with fights. And so my thought one day after, getting into it with a roommate was, why don't why isn't there something that you can just suction in the sink over the drain, and then that way when you go to leave your plate, there's no excuse not to just clean it up right away. So I actually invented something, a dish brush that suctions in your sink, and I have one right here. It's called Sink and Spin. So this thing actually has four suction cups on the bottom here. It's got a 360-degree bristles. So you pop this in the drain over your sink, and then for bowls and plates, you just spin or scrub on top. Silverware, knives, any kind of cutlery you can clean in there, and it has the added benefit of being able to clean twice as fast because there's double-sided bristles. So not only is it difficult to leave a mess in the sink when this thing is suctioned over the drain, but you can clean twice as fast and save water while you're doing it. So um, one of the huge things about Sink and Spin is you can actually plug the drain, pop this over the sink, and then fill it with like 2 gallons of water, which will bring the water up to here. And then it helps the bristles work, and it saves, I'm not sure about the math, but you can go from, on average, people use about 30 gallons when they're traditional hand washing with the sink running, to only about 2 gallons with Sink and Spin. So it's a huge benefit, especially for anyone in some kind of drought areas. Um, and then, the main thing is healthy relationships. Um, I had roommates that would get in actual fist fights over who's going to do the dishes. And, it's a timing thing. So, like, with this in the sink, there's no excuse not to just wipe it off while whatever your mess is still a little bit, wet, versus throwing it in the sink when it's all crusty. And then it's dishwasher safe. So the whole thing pops in your sink over the drain, makes it twice as fast to clean, avoids fights, avoids pileups, and it's super easy to clean. So we actually have a handle here, which a lot of people don't know about. You can actually pop on the sink and spin just like this. And then boom, you can use it like a normal brush too. So any bigger messes, any, countertops, the stovetop, it can work like a normal brush and help keep your kitchen, which is, by the way, the heart of your home, clean. And, avoid the after dinner disaster that seemed to happen, my whole life growing up and in college, especially once I got to live with a bunch of dudes that normally had someone clean up after them. So I always tell people you don't need a homemaker necessarily. You need a healthy and happy relationship with your wife, which something like this, you know what I'm saying, can really help avoid that after dinner disaster. Get everyone to clean their own dishes, because someone has to do the dishes. Why not everybody? In my opinion, clean up after yourself. It'll help your kitchen stay clean, and that way, you can keep your home happy and healthy. So that's really where I'm coming from. Like I said, football player eating probably way too much every day.
Same here.
Oh,
yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to keep everyone from getting into a fight about who's gonna clean up the mess after we eat and we're all tired and sluggish and whatnot. So this really makes it so there's no excuse. And like I said, Thurman, thank you so much for having me on the podcast. I want to hear a little bit about you though, because you seem like an interesting dude, and I wanted to ask you, what was your inspiration, to get into this cleaning business to begin with?
For me, I worked for some family members, a cousin. I worked for him for a while, and he had his own cleaning business, and learned a lot from him. And I just took that step at some point to start my own business, and it's been over 20 years now. Saying like it's at times went really fast. I really did go a lot of time. Really went fast. Been blessed. Really been blessed. There's a lot of more goals that I have, that I want to hit but achieve. But it's been a heck of a ride. It's been a blessing. It's really been
Awesome.
a blessing. And so my passion for all things clean or clean freaks, led to this podcast. Anything. We don't just interview just janitorial cleaning based, but entrepreneurs, other entrepreneurs as well. But our main focus is in something to do with cleaning. Something
Absolutely.
to do with cleaning.
Cool.
Yes. And thank you for being a guest. We really appreciate that.
Absolutely. And I'm with you. I mean, one of the main things that's been working for us is when you have a clean space, when you have a clean area, really knocks down the anxiety that I have. I get anxious when things are out of place and a mess. And when things are clean, I just feel like, I have a clean head. I can, think about things correctly. And, it's just one of those things you just have to knock off your list before you can even think about doing what is important. So, yeah, like I said, really grateful to be able to be talking to you today, and appreciate everything that you guys do.
Thank you so much, and we're very blessed to have you as a guest, and we have a few questions to ask you if you have time. And also before we get into some of the questions, I was going to see if you would maybe possibly narrate one of the videos. We have a video that one of your videos from YouTube, if that'd be okay. Okay,
Yeah,
great. Let me put that in.
Put it on, yeah. All right. So, hey, so this is one of the first videos we actually ever put out. This is the first sink and spin ever created. As you can see there, all you have to do is get it wet, put some soap on top, and then with the plates, just rub it on top. There you see us cleaning a knife in less time than I can even talk about. There's a nice clean bowl. I'm a little behind schedule. Oh, look. Okay, fork is done. Fork is done. Same with the bowl. All you have to do is twist, and those double-sided bristles get the thing clean in less than half the time, because it's like opening a door. Like, you can clean 360 degrees in only 180 degrees, really, because it's double-sided. So, we got we got another video already. So you saw it right there. It was quick. It was fast. It works. And it has a handle on it. So if you're one of those people that's going to be like stuck up and want to, clean like normal, it still can be done with that handle right there. And it's a really comfortable handle. Super light device. We really cut down on the weight so we could, minimize the plastic and, make it as easy to use for the customer as possible. So there you saw the whole video. This new model actually is new and improved compared to that one you saw in the video. It actually has an extra row of bristles here on both sides. So it's, perfect for scraping off stuck on food or eggs in the morning. There's nothing worse than your roommate making some eggs and then leaving the pan on the stove, for you to clean after he went off to wherever he went off to. So with this, there's no excuse. It makes it easy. It makes it faster. You can save water, and you don't get in fights with your roommates. So
that's one of the things I noticed about. Once I saw the videos, I showed it to our staff, and they were just tickled as I was about this. And wow, we all said yes, we would like to, and thank you for sending us one as well.
sure,
Yes,
yeah, absolutely. I'd love for you to have it, and let me know what you think.
definitely,
Sure.
definitely, I sure will. One of the questions I would like to ask you is I guess, how hard is it, the process? I mean, like a lot of us we are entrepreneurs, but we may not be inventors. So, I mean, what is the process of getting it from your mind to something, to holding it in your hand today?
Wow. Okay, good question. Let me think about that. Okay, so really, I guess it's the process of manifestation, and
Amen.
I'm sure whether you realize it or not, you can relate. Like, you walk into a building or someone's place, and you see the way it is now,
Mm-hmm.
but you also see what it could be when it's done, whenever you finish cleaning it, and there's a huge difference there. Like, um, being someone that takes an idea and makes it into a reality is not easy. There's always roadblocks, and there's always naysayers, people that are going to tell you it can't be done, or it shouldn't be done. um, don't listen to those people. That would be my advice. The truth is, it can be done, and as long as you're in alignment, and you're looking at the bigger purpose, the bigger picture. Um, those tough times can be overcome. Like, um, there's been so many times where I just thought, man, maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm going in the wrong direction, maybe I'm uh, maybe I should listen to my parents, maybe I should listen to my friend who said it can't be done. And truth is, they're not right. It can be done, and with your will, with your alignment in the higher purpose will,
Amen.
you know, I can tell you're one of those. I am too. Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad to be talking to you. But, when I look back, it's, I'm humbled by all of my experiences and making this a reality. And I just want to tell anybody that has an idea or thinks that they're here for a higher purpose, that they should follow that, and they should, dig into it and do the work in order to become whatever you're picturing in your mind. Like there's nothing better. There's nothing better than someone realizing their purpose, someone following God's will and making it happen. Like, it's a blessing. Feels like a curse, but it is a blessing. You know what I mean?
I
So,
understand.
yeah, absolutely.
What are some of the challenges that you've had to even just bring it to fruition? To hold that in your hand. What are some of the challenges that you may have had?
So when you have something like this, people will try to tell you everything they can in order for you, as the person with that gift, that it can't be done, that there are too many roadblocks, that there are, you're going to face too many struggles, you're not going to have enough money. But it's really not true. Like, I don't know. I did a little work with As Seen on TV people and like Shark Tank, but nothing against those people at Shark Tank or As Seen on TV. It's just like a matter of alignment and being able to find your like tribe. I think of myself. This is gonna sound crazy, but I think of myself as like I'm a lion.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not a shark.
Gotcha.
Sharks are trying to eat each other up, take what they can. A lion is sitting there all day,
Mm-hmm.
maybe for several days, just observing, seeing what's going on. And that's the way they find their meal. Like, they're not as aggressive with trying to steal part of your business. They're more, I'm going to get the lion's share when the time is right. And that's how I've started to think about things. Like, being a shark, I feel like they run more on fear, and they may not. I'm trying to be as nice as I can. Sharks just want to eat, right?
Yes. Savages.
Lions want to provide.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
Now they're both killing something, right? But the way that they do it, I think, is important. And I'm trying to model my life and the way that I run my business around the way that a lion eats, as opposed to the way a shark eats. Now, if maybe your next question is, have you been on Shark Tank? Do you want to go on Shark Tank? Yes, I will go on Shark Tank.
Definitely curious.
Yeah. Shark
Definitely
Tank.
curious.
Whether or not I strike a deal with those guys, it depends on the deal. The great thing that they do have going for them is the huge audience and the huge the huge following. They've made a name for themselves, and that's great for them. You can get great exposure on Shark Tank. It's just right now I don't want 200,000 for 10%
Mm-hmm.
because they're getting a better deal. You know what I mean?
They got 200 million in a year or so.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you look at Scrub Daddy and what they've been able to do with Scrub Daddy. I
Yes.
bet you whoever the guy was that made Scrub Daddy regrets getting that investment from Lori, because Lori's share of that company, I can't remember if it was 10 or 20%, but for 20,000, it's the best selling, highest volume product that's ever been on Shark Tank. And I bet you Lori's share is worth 20 million today,
Correct.
when she only put in 200,000. So you're looking at a multiple of over 100, in
That's correct.
in what she put in versus what she got back. So you can see the shark mentality there. Sharks are animals just like lions, you know.
Oh,
uh,
yes.
but they have a different way of operating, and that's just my opinion from what I've experienced. Uh,
Mhm.
if I had to give any advice, it'd be a lion, provide, add value, don't take value. That would be my advice.
I like that. I definitely like that. That is awesome, and it is a big difference, like you said, feeding the I guess the tribe more or less
Right,
than
right.
than the yourself. I can see that. Where are some of the places that you market so far that to date that you marketed at?
Sure. So right now we're on Amazon.
Okay.
We have a online store as well at sinkandspin.com. We're also on Walmart.com, um, a few other online retailers, but yeah, we've got I think some of our best prices right now on Amazon. We're also doing some Market.live shows, which seem to be going well. Really anywhere the customers are looking is where we're marketing. That's the main thing you've got to look at before you put any marketing dollars into anything, is where are our customers, what do our customers want, you know, and the more detailed you can get about that customer, the more ROI you can get back on any of that work or money spent you put into creating that customer client relationship.
One other thing I noticed in your product, once you see it being used, it's just like it pops. It
Right.
definitely pops. Yes, it pops. How has social media played or benefit you in that?
So, oh man, I'm not sure we could have done it without social media. Really, like I'm trying to think about the numbers that go into it, and when it comes to bang for your buck, the
Hmm.
organic reach you can get now on Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, Pinterest, literally incalculable, because it's organic. You're not
Hmm.
paying for that, and you can get tens of thousands of views on a reel or on a TikTok that you didn't actually advertise, and it almost to the customer may be more credible than something they see that is sponsored. So really incalculable, invaluable resources there. TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Pinterest. Those are all great resources in order to get your name, get your brand out there.
That's good. I was wondering, and how many also like how many prototypes, or is that like a big process for
Yeah,
you,
yeah, yeah. I wish I
or
could
a
show you
nightmare or a
pictures.
nightmare?
Yeah, nightmare a little bit. I wish I could show you pictures. I My first prototype was literally, you know what a bunk cake is? One of those
uh,
circular cakes.
with the hole in the center.
Yeah, exactly. So my first prototype, I took a bunk cake pan because I was so frustrated with the piles that were ending up in the sink. Took a bunk cake pan and then drilled some holes in it, put suction cups on it, and then put pipe cleaner, like bristles,
Hmm.
zip tied, one on the inside of the hole, one on the outside of the hole, and no one left anything in the sink after I put that in there. It was probably the ugliest thing. And I probably did 40 different renditions of, the 3D model and, invested in a 3D printer, and now I'm creating them on a large scale, overseas. And it couldn't have been done without that trial and error process, which was frustrating, but at the same time, like it's just something you need to go through in order to make that idea into a reality and make it work for the whole world. So
Gotcha. I was wondering, and that was one of the questions I was going to ask you about a 3D printer. Was that in the process of that? That was definitely in the process.
yeah, yeah, it definitely was. I wish I could show you a photo because I have a photo of all of my different renditions of this thing.
Mhm.
And what's crazy is you can have an idea and it can work, but if you want to get it out there to the world, it needs to be manufacturable.
Mhm.
So, in order to do that, you now need to think in opposites because the thing's created out of like a 2-ton steel block mold that they shoot hot plastic pellets into. And you need to not only have that cool at the right temperature so that there's no warping in the product, but you need to be able to remove those pieces in bulk from that steel block mold. So if there's a curve or if there's an edge that makes it not able to remove from the steel block mold, then you've basically wasted your time. So that's where all those different renditions come in. That's where all that hard work is and that perseverance. Because without that, you know, you're really spinning your wheels, without any traction. So yeah.
Got it. Um, Also in the future, is retail. Will that be something that's in the future for you or
Totally,
planned?
totally.
Hmm.
Um, my goals, I want to be in Walmart, Bed Bath and Beyond, Target. Um, Trying to think, who's
I can
left?
see it
You
doing
know what I'm
well in
saying? Who's
beyond.
left out there at this point? Those are the main. Those are the main three. I think I could see it working. And there has been a little interest from them, kind of going back and forth. So we'll see where that goes. But right now, the best place is going to be Amazon, SeekandSpin.com, or Walmart.com.
I can see it doing well in Bed Bath and Beyond.
Me too.
Definitely.
Me too. Yeah. Especially with that as seen on TV endorsement. So
I
yeah.
saw that. Uh-huh. Is that what is the process to maybe someone else is trying, another inventor, entrepreneur is trying to go that process? Is that a hard thing to do to get it as seen on TV, or is there a lot of money involved in that?
Well, I don't want to say too much
Mhm.
about that whole process, but one thing I think that people should know is, yes, there is a lot of money involved in getting to that point. 2, make sure you have a good lawyer and make sure that they read the contract before you sign it. That's what I would say. And there's a different audience for people that are on TV than there is for people that are on Facebook or Instagram or TikTok. And those algorithms, especially ever since a few years ago, are able to connect you with your customer better than any TV ad that's just, making a blanket statement to anyone that's watching. Those algorithms are made to keep people engaged, and if you have something that will make people engage, you will get shown to hundreds of thousands of people, and most likely free of charge. You can pay for that, social media advertising, but my advice would be start with organic, create as much content as you possibly can, state your benefits, state your, not your features, but your benefits, what the customer will actually benefit from, and see where those go, because you can take those organic posts, actually add paid ad spend to them, and boost their reach beyond what that organic reach normally would be. Versus on TV, you're looking at whoever's going to be watching that TV, which I don't know anything about. Not saying anything bad about anyone that watches cable TV, but generally, especially after 2020, those people are like going to be an older crowd than my target audience, which, usually people in between, first homeowners / college students up to, 45, 40-year-olds that have kids and, constantly in the kitchen, constantly working, don't have extra time, especially in the morning, to wake up early and clean the sink out because it's full of dirty, nasty, crusty dishes. So that would be my advice to any new entrepreneur: is keep an eye on your audience, keep an eye on what their interests are and what they're looking for, because if you can add some benefit or some value to their life, they will engage with you, and that will create some kind of platform for you to be able to speak on.
Okay. I can see that, man. He explained it very well with that. I can see that. And also, and speaking of the process for us, like an attorneys, the patent process, is that, how hard is that, or simple?
Well, okay. It's one of those things where it's hard and it's easy. If you do your diligence and find the right guy, and they're acting on your behalf, generally you're not going to have to make too many decisions beyond making that original draft of what your idea is and what you're trying to bring to the world. It's worth a few extra $1,000 to get someone that can do it, someone that preferably has experience being a patent examiner, even, because when you have an idea and you want to bring it to the world, you want it to be protected. You can spend a lot of money on trying to bring that idea to the world and have it protected, and then find out, tens of thousands of dollars later that it already exists, or there's someone that created it 100 years ago and it didn't work out. So I would recommend doing a prior art search with the patent attorney. It's going to be expensive, but it'll save you a lot of headache down the road when it actually gets pushed through to the USPTO, because the USPTO, their business is finding reasons not to grant you the property, which is the idea. So find someone that maybe has had experience as a patent examiner at the USPTO that is now a lawyer. That would be my best idea for you guys that are trying to bring something new to the world and don't know where to start. It's going to cost you a little bit more, but it's probably worth it
in the long run. I see. And for you to, I know you touched on the manufacturers. How hard was that, the process to finding manufacturers? And I know that you said they're overseas, and if you could give us a little bit of insight on that process.
Sure. So I would recommend. Thurman, have you heard of Tim Ferriss?
No, I'm not sure. I haven't.
Okay, Tim Ferriss makes a podcast, and he's a very reputable source for people that are interested in things like these. I would also recommend David Meltzer. He's pretty big on Instagram. He's good for life advice, but the process of me being able to make that a reality and do it for a price that can get it out there to everyone, I learned from interviews that Tim Ferriss was giving to people that created the back support strap. You know what I'm talking? Are you familiar with that?
Yes,
Back
I think so.
it keeps your shoulders back. It was like the big product of 2018, and I think the title of that podcast was called like 18 million in revenue in 1 year or something like that. I listened to it back in 2019 when I was struggling trying to figure out that problem. That's where I would go to find out the process of how to even get in contact with these guys and make whatever your idea is manufacturable and at scale for a bigger population. I'll send that to you after this call. I'll send that to you.
Thank you.
Because he's a just like you, he's great, and ask the right questions in order to give people the right ideas, because you don't want to go down a rabbit hole and spend money or send money overseas when you don't know what you're doing. So that was my main blessing when it came to how to create it, and I'm really grateful for his interview with whoever that guy was that created that backstrap and sold like 18 million in a year on Amazon.
That's very impressive. That's
awesome.
Very impressive numbers.
Yeah. And he was a guy in college too. He was like a sophomore in college, So dropped out of minimize the amount of time that he was spending on his schoolwork so that he could, put that investment into these communications with people overseas. And the other thing I would like to say about your communications when you're reaching out to these people, first go look at that podcast, find out how to get in contact with them. Number two, make sure there is only one interpretation of what you're saying possible, because they speak a very different language. What they get on their side of the computer is different from what you think you're sending. So
Gotcha.
make it as simple as possible. Find someone that can communicate well, and translate into, from Chinese to English. It'll save you a lot of headaches down the road.
Thank you for that information. I look forward to when you have time, and I may be able to put that in the edit version later.
Sure. Yeah, I will definitely send you that.
Let's see, maybe just a couple other questions on the business side.
Sure.
Did you? I know it's like I said, Shark Tank is so popular now. A lot of people know about the Kickstarters and the crowdfunders. Is that something that helped you in this process?
I've bootstrapped the whole thing.
Awesome.
And,
I commend you on
what's crazy about it is
that. Mm-hmm.
I can't believe that I've gotten this far. Like, when I started, I didn't have enough money. I didn't have enough time. I had no contacts, no resources, but I just followed my intuition, followed my heart, did it because I love it. And it sounds crazy, but if you do it because you love it, it'll work out. Just like that,
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I commend you on that.
yeah, yeah, no, it's real. Like, it's crazy. Like, back when I first started this, like, pockets were thin. You know what I mean? Like, resources were low, time was low. I didn't have the contacts. I had no support. I had no. It's not like my dad works for Ford and you know what I'm saying, and makes these parts overseas and then ships them in, and I could just ask him what the email is. Like, I had to do the work, and really, it's a blessing I've been able to get this far. I'm amazed myself that I've gotten this far. But to anyone that's looking to do it, just know it's not going to be easy. You have to have faith. You have to push through. You have to learn, because if you don't learn, the same stuff's going to keep cycling and popping back up in your face. I don't know if you've ever seen that show Larry David makes, Curb Your Enthusiasm. But like,
Yeah.
if you don't learn your lesson, you're gonna. I guarantee you, the universe is gonna keep showing you what you need to know. And if and it's your job to learn. It's your job to figure that stuff out. If you don't, it'll just keep coming back. So that's my sentiment on it.
Thank you, and I thank you for sharing that. And that's refreshing to know that it's possible that you may not that you can bootstrap it yourself. So that's very refreshing to know that. Know that. So a lot of us are maybe not can get those $1 million loans or anything like that. So yeah.
Hey,
Uh,
especially now, it's tough out there right now. So, but there's other ways. And if it's part of your dream, if it's part of your your mission, the doors will open, and you'll have everything you need. I can't guarantee you're gonna be super abundant, but you'll get everything you need, and you'll be able to make it happen if it comes from your heart.
like that's good. And maybe just to change gears a little bit, get back more to your product.
Sure.
And I noticed that you had touched on one of the videos. I heard you maybe someone that had reviewed your product about the safety aspect. If you
Yeah. Yeah, so one of the main problems with just throwing your dirty dish and dirty knives, silverware into the sink, especially if you're going to soak them,
mm-hmm.
is you don't know what's under that dirty, greasy water until you dig your hand down there. And 9 times out of 10, the person that cleaned up last will leave the sink or leave the sponge inside the sink. Now you're trying to find the thing you need to clean everything with underwater with sharp items in there. So you don't want to be in a situation where the only way you can clean this mess up is by digging your hand into a pool full of knives trying to find a sponge, because I guarantee you will cut yourself. The difference is with this, there's really no way that you could cut yourself. When you have this suctioned over the drain and you put your knives into this slot, it cleans both sides at once, and there's no way you could make contact with your hand. So, versus a sponge, now you have to squeeze the sponge over in half, slide it back and forth onto, that sharp edge, and it's going to end up cutting your cleaning utensil, and maybe even go into your hand, which is a situation nobody wants to be in.
I've
And I
done it
guarantee
before.
that. Yeah. It's like digging your hand into a tool bag that has loose razors in it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've ever been there, but all of a sudden you pull your hand out and you're bleeding, like, that's just not fair to the next person to leave that in the sink and, hope that they're not gonna possibly injure themselves while you run off to work or wherever you're going. With sink and spin in there, there's no excuse not to just clean it right away, and you can avoid cutting yourselves or avoid cutting one of your roommates or significant other's hands just by, being smart, making a mess, cleaning it up. That's how it goes.
I like that. And
Yeah.
one other thing I noticed that in recent history, like they tell us now to, I think you're supposed to microwave your sponge or something crazy like it to get the
Oh,
bacteria or something.
that's
Yeah.
another thing. So with sink and spin, it actually has antimicrobial bristles, which do
Oh,
not allow the growth of any kind of bacteria or, COVID, hopefully, or, anything that could be harmful to your health. These bristles do not gain bacteria. So it's safe to leave in your sink. It's safe to dishwash if you really want to be paranoid about it. Versus a sponge, they're constantly wet. When things are constantly wet, they can grow bacteria, and it really turns into a cesspool. And then you're in a situation where, in order to clean something, you're using something covered with bacteria that could actually get you sick, and you don't want to be there. Another thing, dishwashing pods have actually been linked or shown, like a lot of the ingredients in those have been linked and shown to actually cause cancer. So yeah, your dishes may be clean by using the dishwasher, but sink and spin saves water compared to the dishwasher, even Energy Star washers. You're going from only 2 gallons with sink and spin to about 4 gallons with an Energy Star rated dishwasher. You're not risking any kind of cancer developing over time by using the dishwashing pods. And you're not fighting with your roommates about, is the dishwasher clean or dirty? Because if you don't wash your dishes right away and just throw them into the dishwasher with them all crusty, 9 times out of 10, they're going to come out of the dishwasher still dirty. So I can't tell you the amount of times in college that my roommate would ask me, is the dishwasher clean or dirty? And we have 4 or 5 people living there. We don't know who ran it last. Only 2 of them are home right now. We're looking at the dishes trying to figure out if it's actually been run. And 9 times out of 10, when it's been run, those dishes have been sitting in there crusty the whole time and actually didn't get clean in that cycle. So now they've got to be run again, and you're doing 2 or 3 times the work that you really need to do when you have sink and spin.
I like that. And I remember, I think I did see one of the reviewers that mentioned that as well about the some of the harsh chemicals that's in the dishwasher, automatic dishwashers.
That's right. Yep.
Mhm.
Yep.
And that's assuring to know that it does have antimicrobial or antibacteria properties. So that's really
Sure.
assuring. It's good to know that.
Yeah, absolutely.
And are there any other things that you may have created to go along with this?
Yes. Whether I can tell you about them right now,
Mm-hmm.
sort of a different story. Um, all I can really say is keep your eye on our Facebook and Instagram, TikTok pages, Sink and Spin on Facebook, um, Top Cleaning Hacks on Instagram and TikTok. We do have some new products coming out that we really think are going to be maybe even bigger than Sink and Spin. So keep your eye on that. Can't tell you too much right now, but should be really beneficial to everyone around the world. So
That's awesome. We're definitely going to be looking forward to it, excited about it. And like I said, once we actually got a chance to see the videos, see it being used, and it's like it was just like an explosion. You can see, yes, I understand it. Definitely
hey,
see it.
that's what we're going for. That's what we're going for, Thurman. And I thank you so much for all your questions and the reaching out, and I wish you the best of luck, and I'd love to maybe come back and do this again in a little bit of
Please,
time.
please, I
Yeah,
appreciate that. If you would just refresh our listeners how they can find it, see, maybe even follow you on social media. Just maybe let us
sure,
ever know.
totally. So you guys want to follow us? It's Top Cleaning Hacks on Instagram and on TikTok. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sink and spin. Sink and spin, better way to do dishes is what the page is called. We have Pinterest, pinterest.com/sink and spin. You want to buy it? Please do that. Go to sinkandspin.com or go buy with Prime on Amazon. You get it in less than 2 days. We have a huge amount of inventory that just got in. It's been one of our main issues is keeping these things in stock. So if you want it, get it right now. Get it at the best price. Prices are probably going up soon. You can also find it on Walmart.com. Go check that out, and if you buy it, please leave us a review and let us know, what you thought, how you liked it, and I appreciate everybody that's joined us today and everybody that will see this. So as well as Thurman. Thurman's the man, and I I hope you guys will find him and book him as well for any kind of cleaning that you need done.
Thank you, Zach. We really appreciate that, brother, and we look forward to part two, and maybe possibly seeing you on Shark Tank.
Yes, yeah. Hey, anybody that sees this that wants to see me on Shark Tank, go knock on their door. Go send them an email. Do whatever you can. Get it out to them because they'll show me if they know that people want to see me. I appreciate it. Thank you so much.
I'm going to start that campaign today.
All right,
Thank you.
Irvin. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Zach. Hey,
Bye.
thank y'all. Clean Freaks Podcast, hosted by S&M Clean Service. Thank y'all for joining with us. And until next time, bye.
Awesome.